Lumos. Hi, I'm Gita Lovegood, and today I am having a wonderful day, social distancing outside, but still enjoying Wizards Unite. Today I want to talk a little bit about my experience with Community Day and my thoughts on how successful this stay-at-home Community Day really was. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about personal mental health. So I want to talk a little bit about Community Day because, one, I do think it was absolutely amazing and such an amazing, incredibly great job done by the whole WizU team. However, of course, there could still be improvements, so that's what I'm going to touch on today. So first, I really loved that the whole day concentrated on one page, and I love that they gave us 15 Mertlap fragments from completing the assignments. This pretty much guaranteed that as long as people were paying attention, they were going to get to prestige the page. And then from my experience, off of Trace Tonics, all of the other foundables on that page were actually spawning pretty evenly. Pickett was of course a little bit increased, but he needed to be increased because he was generally the highest foundable on the page as far as how many fragments you needed to complete and keep going. So in general, I feel like all of the spawn rates were perfect, and I feel like all of that was really well pulled off. My biggest qualm with the day was spell energy, and I think most people will agree. The catch rate, or the saving rate, for all of the traces was extremely high. So this is coming from a player that my max energy capacity is currently 575 spell energy. And because of the free gift that we got, and because of the daily energy that we get and the energy that we got that morning from the monthly login, I actually started off at 660 energy. And about halfway through the day, I ended up needing to definitely ride around and get some more spell energy. Now, I wasn't just pointlessly riding around, we were running errands that we needed to run anyways, but I definitely needed to make sure to keep the game open and pay attention and tap every single spell energy that I could on the map. So then I did manage to max my energy back out, but I also went back down to 200 by the end of the night. And that was only because I stopped catching everything except Pickett by the end, mainly because I ran out of Extimulo potions. Now, I know plenty of people probably ran out of Trace Tonics, so you weren't able to grind as much as you'd like, and I know personally I ran out of Extimulos. Trace Tonics I have plenty of. I started off with 27 and I ended with 10, so I used 17 Trace Tonics throughout the day. And then I started with about 15 of each Extimulo potion, and I ended with none. And by the end, I was paying to complete Extimulo potions faster. So that was a little bit frustrating, but also I understand because normally I do have a lot more Extimulos stocked up, but because I've been saving all of my silver keys for an event like this, I have not been using them on port keys, so I've not been getting those rarer ingredients that I need. So I was much lower going into this than I normally am, but I don't necessarily want to compare it to what I normally am because my max potion capacity is also pretty high. I believe it's 260, which I'm sure is much higher than most of you. So overall, I think it should have been a little bit of an easier catch rate for people, especially since this was meant to be played from home, and I get about 30 spell energy per hour at my place where I live because we just have a lot of people that live all close together. I'm in an apartment complex, and generally apartment complexes have cluster spawns and cluster spawns of ingredients and anything that you need that just spawns on the ground. It is considered a more dense area of living, and it has more cell activity. So naturally there's going to be a lot more spawn points there and a lot more things popping up. I don't believe I was getting 30 an hour. I could be wrong. it was a very, very long day, and it's hard to keep up with that kind of thing like you would on a normal day. But I don't believe I was getting 30 an hour. I think the energy was a little bit decreased. And for a lot of people that don't get any spell energy at all at home, I would imagine that this event was very difficult. So overall, that's my biggest complaint. If we have to do another one of these at home, if they happen to do one of these in May, which I'm sure they will, honestly, I think we're going to have another one of these in less than 2 weeks with the makeup for March. I hope that they make things a little bit easier to catch and save, because it's just, that was quite difficult. And like I said, I started off with 660 spell energy and almost ran out. That's saying something, but obviously this is just my opinion and a little bit of opinions that I was reading online throughout the day, trying to keep up with how other people were receiving Community Day. I know there was one girl on Twitter that actually tagged a bunch of us and let us know, hey, the catch rate is really hard, you're going to need more stimulos. So thank you, shout out to her. But I definitely want to know how your Community Day was overall. I ended up getting to complete Picket on the gold page, but he's the only one that I completed on gold page. I started off with I was on the basic page and I only needed one Picket to prestige the page. So I started off in pretty good standing, but it did take a lot of grinding, and I didn't get that last Picket until 11:30 p.m. So I had about 30 minutes left for the whole Community Day to try to finish him off. A little bit tighter than I would have liked, but I also could have started earlier in the day and I could have hustled harder. So I probably could have finished if I'd started off with more Extimulo potions. But yeah, overall, successful day. I really, really enjoyed it, and I'm so, so thankful that they did a stay-at-home Community Day that lasted 24 hours, especially one with Picket. There was a little otter. The next thing I wanted to talk to you guys about was a bit personal, but I feel like it's important to talk about because, you know, mental health is becoming a more important issue to talk about in general, just so people are more aware of things and so you guys don't feel as alone with things. So I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I actually have my new camera, the one that I've been talking about and the one that I've been wanting for quite a while. Now, what I did not know was that when I got this new camera, I didn't know it would relieve a lot of anxiety and depression that I had lingering, that I didn't realize had hit me last year when I realized that my setup wasn't good enough. I think it was around the time that I was recording the Harry Potter and Pokemon Go comparison video, and I was trying to walk around a park that I love. All I did was get close to one side of one of the lakes, and the wind was just too intense. And this was like, okay, I can deal with this, but then I quickly realized that it wasn't just going to be avoiding that park, it wasn't just going to be avoiding that lake or other lakes. I lived in a state that had very intense wind just because we're so high up in elevation. We don't have too much blocking the wind. At least that's what I think it is. I grew up in a state where we didn't get too much wind. So it's actually pretty calm right now, which is surprising because I am by a water source. But it's pretty calm over here. I kind of want to take my shoes off and get in and just enjoy the water and ground myself a little bit. But yeah, I did not know that basically feeling that restriction. Like, we would go to different places like Red Rocks. The first time we went to Red Rocks was a few days before I recorded that video, and when we left the wind was fine, but then when we got there I realized that the wind was going to be more intense because we were up against a mountain. So we had to wait for the wind to be like really dead one day to go and try to work with it. And over time, that just gets more and more frustrating, especially since I'm the type that I really like to just explore a new area and try to record that excitement of the new place. That's where I feel most creative. I definitely can record places that I've been to before, but it takes away a level of excitement for me to not be just like experiencing it for the first time. And I'm not going to fake that I'm experiencing it for the first time. That's just not me either. So it was really just affecting me in a way that I did not realize until that extra weight was lifted. So it's just been nice. One of my friends helped me realize that it's actually part of my astrology chart, and if I don't feel like I'm able to fully express my creativity, then it is going to affect me. And it's helped me to realize that now, because now when I am feeling those feelings on certain days, I can try to pinpoint those feelings and work through them. But before, I didn't know what was going on, and slowly but surely it was getting worse and worse because it was getting harder and harder to record, and harder and harder for me to feel inspired to record. So yeah, I just keep telling my friends I'm so excited. They keep checking in on me because they knew that this whole thing was definitely affecting me, and I was expressing that to them. Hey, I need a little bit more of a check-in. And then once I got this new camera, I started testing it out and realized how amazing it was, and all of that was just lifted. All of the extra things that I couldn't just shake out of my head were gone. I could shake things off. The little things that I was blowing up out of proportion in my mind were gone. The anxieties that I wasn't good enough for certain things were gone. Alright, I wanted to jump in really quick and clarify a little bit because I got a little bit distracted while I was talking at the park. I wanted to basically clarify that we have been saving up for this camera for a very long time, and it was not just careless extra money spent. It was definitely an investment that we decided was a priority amongst what we have going on personally. We are definitely also trying to do what we can for our local community where we can, to try to help the economy, to try to help people that are around us. So yeah, I just wanted to clarify that. I understand there are a lot of people struggling right now, and I am in a very privileged position to have been able to afford this when I did. For those of you that are very much on the struggling end of this storm, I wanted to say that my thoughts are with you so strongly, and I'm sending so much Lumos your way. And I really hope that you guys understand where I'm coming from in this, and that I'm just genuinely happy to have that extra layer of depression that was on me lifted, because that was just so heavy and intense. And I'm happy that I'm in a place now where I can be there for other people, and I'm really not trying to diminish any sort of situation at all. I'm literally just trying to catch you guys up on where I'm at mentally and let you know that I'm doing better. And if you've noticed me struggling over the last year or so, hopefully it won't be the same. I really do feel like my anxieties are just so much less intense. And I'll talk about it more in a future video about some of the things that I went through last year that probably also went into everything. But that will probably be closer to summer when I talk about it, when more things are happening correlating with that situation. But yeah, in a way, I'm like trying to, I feel selfish in a way, so that's why I'm coming off as so somber and calm, because I'm really trying to not just be like, oh, happy me, everybody be happy for me, and I don't care about how you're doing at all, because that's not the case. I promise that's not the case. So yeah, I'm gonna let you jump back to the video. So yeah, I just wanted to share that sometimes what you think is depressing you is not what's depressing you, and sometimes it's interesting. I guess I want to talk about astrology more, and I have talked about that a little bit here and there, but in general I would love to talk more about planets and how they affect us, and how the retrogrades affect us, how the planets affect us when they swing by, how their placements, where they were when you were born and where you were in the world when you were born, all affect you, and how you react to things as a person. Yeah. And I just wanted to let you guys know that I'm overall just really, really happy right now, and that's pretty much all I can talk about to people, is how happy I feel about life again, and how nice that is to feel happy about life. Which, it's not that I wasn't happy about life before, it was just, you know, that like little layer that you can't shake, and you don't even know what it is while you're experiencing it, but then when it's gone you're like, oh, that was there the whole time. That's definitely what I experienced, so yeah. Hopefully you guys will notice a difference and see a much happier Gita, and a Gita that can post more consistently, and a Gita that can fully express her creative side, because that will be very exciting and very fun. I hope you guys are doing okay. Feel free to reach out to me in DMs on any platform if you are going through a tough time. I of course want to be there for you guys as best as I can, and just spread the love as my friends have done for me and as you guys have done for me. Of course, watch out for those dementors, and when I say dementors, I am talking about depression, so watch out for those dementors. Make sure to use your magic wisely, and I will see you guys soon. Knox.